Water is the lifeblood of the Everglades. The water drifts over the prairies like a sheet. It rushes into the sloughs after a rain, heading south toward Florida Bay, where it will enrich the mangrove estuaries. There must be plenty of water, and it must be pure, for the Everglades to be great and bountiful. Water is responsible for the huge biomass that originates in the knee-deep waters of the sawgrass prairies. Only water purified of its load of phosphorus from the agricultural lands north of the park is good enough to provide for this bounty. Where the water is pure, tiny pinheads of life in a dazzling array of forms wiggle and dance. Their transparent bodies are intricately beautiful, but are rarely seen by the park's human visitors. If all goes well, many of these living jewels will become snacks for the creatures above them. Higher and higher, their substances will travel up the food web to the large vertebrates themselves. These are the creatures that we humans love to watch. The animals of the Everglades are here because of what the water can provide. If they themselves are not truly aquatic, they will at least benefit from the ones that are. The apple snail is one opportunity that has not gone unnoticed by the vertebrate world. The limpkin probes around in the vegetation until his bill strikes the shell of one. But the limpkin is not alone in its taste for apple snails. The endangered snail kite has an even greater preference for them. Without apple snails, there would be no kites. The anhinga could care less about gastropods. Its objective is to raise young by thinning the fish population. We can't have baby anhingas without fish, and we can't have fish without the living specks that the fish can see. We should not be surprised when we see soft-shelled turtles digging sand. Soft-shells are aquatic, but because they are reptiles, they must lay their eggs on land. This creates opportunities for crows. A crow will not only snatch an uncovered egg, but its friends may find the buried ones as well. This is another way the abundance of the water cycles itself through the terrestrial world. Luckily, not every egg is found by the wily crows. Finally, there are the mammals that populate the higher ground in the pine woods and hardwood hammocks of the Everglades. Does the bobcat care about the waters that surround its island as it hunts for mice? It does if the waters rise high enough to flood the hammock. One of the important jobs for water managers is to find ways to better regulate water flow to the park, so the deer, the fox, the bobcat, and the endangered panther are not deluged in times of high water. In the early 90s, the U.S. Congress directed the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to find ways to restore the Everglades. The result is the Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Plan, or CERP. At a projected cost of nearly $8 billion, it is the biggest habitat restoration project in the history of the world. One of the purposes of the project is to improve the flow of water to the park in various ways. A 10-mile section of the Tamiami Trail, for example, may either be rebuilt on pilings, or more culverts will be added under the existing roadway. Another CERP objective is to store up excess fresh water for use in dry times rather than releasing it wastefully into the ocean. One solution is to make use of abandoned rock pits. Yet another vital objective of restoration is to purify the water polluted by agriculture. In order to reduce the concentration of phosphorus to safe levels, giant filter marshes are being built. Powerful pumps are moving the water into the marshes so the green plants can use up the fertilizer before the water is pumped into the Everglades. This canal is being built to transport water from the sugarcane fields south of Lake Okeechobee into one of the filter marshes. In order to break up the limestone, the men are drilling deep holes and filling them with powerful explosives. It is the hope of Everglades restoration that all this science and engineering will make the Everglades a better place for wildlife.